again. I am the curator of Creative Dignity's Climate X Craft Dialogues. Welcome to the second session of Creative Dignity's Climate X Craft Dialogues, talking traceability with Kosha. The Climate X Craft Dialogues and series, for those who have missed our first session, probes climate practices through the lens of climate sensitive issues. So, looking at the craft industry from that lens, because sustainability is a bigger word, but then, climate is a very important anchor and has got missed so far in the work that a lot of people are doing. And we felt that it was time that we highlight that. The inaugural session of the series took place last month in October, and it focused on firstly the role of biodiversity in the prolonged prosperity of craft practices. It secondly brought out the economic development, be it producing a product at scale or changing animal practices. They must take cognizance of the ecological strengths and needs of a region. One of the key takeaways, which our panelists that time, there were three panelists, Brij Ballabh Udewalji, who was the fifth generation artisan from Sanganer, Rituraj Diwan from Seven Weaves based out of Assam, and Monisha Ahmed based out of Ladakh. They agreed that there was a need for an accountable production system in the craft sector. This, they believe, would highlight crafts' climate positive supply chain, provide the sector a comparative advantage, and position it on the global economic landscape. Handmade practices and products might be people planet centric, but lack of data backing this narrative will act as an impediment in its onward journey. The purpose of this forum is to empower professionals and individuals such as yourself to cultivate interdisciplinary thinking and engage with ideas, solutions that align with your ethical business models. To foster this collaborative environment, Creative Dignity approached Vijaya Krishnappa from Kosha, an innovative platform specializing in supply chain solutions, authenticity, and traceability solutions, uniquely crafted for the artisanal business sector. And we requested that he holds a masterclass for our members. So in the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will together with Vijay understand B2B traceability solutions available to producers that operate in a decentralized ecosystem such as crafts. Simplify terminologies like data collection through QR scanning, ERP, or enterprise resource planning system. The logistics of adopting this technology. And fourth, how does it benefit brands like yours in organizational management, data accumulation, or brand building? In the second part of the session, we have a real life user of this technology, Abhilasha Bahuguna of the Looms of Ladakh. She will give a 10 minutes presentation on why she pivoted towards digital resources for the ease of business and tracking environmental and social impact. This will be an interactive session, so grab a notebook, jot down your questions, observations, and any doubts that might arise in the next 40 minutes or so. We will open the session for a Q&A later. And if at any point you feel things are getting a little technical, because we are entering a new terrain, of course, in form of a masterclass, don't worry. The speakers will be around for a clarification. So with that introduction, I would like to invite Vijay, who has kindly agreed to join. Vijay will give a presentation. Over to you, Vijay. You're a co-host, so you can start directly.
Okay. Thank you, Surucchi, and good evening, everyone. So I'm Vijaya Krishnappa, a co-founder of Kosha.ai. We are primarily, at Kosha, we are trying to address the issue of lack of trust in the craft sector. So, which many of you are familiar, how the sector operates. Okay, let me start with my presentation. Okay, so you can see my screen, I assume. Okay, so my first question is that because traceability is a buzzword now, and every 5 years you will have a new buzzword, like blockchain is a buzzword, then IoT is a buzzword, AI is a buzzword now, right? So but question is that why traceability and why now? Okay, and that's because there are problems with the supply chains today, and problem with the products itself. So, like, greenwashing is one thing, where you claim something, but you are doing something else. Okay. And you have many of the geopolitical tensions. Okay. There are ethical concerns about how a cotton is grown, where it is grown, right? So, and then you have environmental concerns like, whether a particular specific cotton is really organic or not. And then there are concerns with respect to even authenticity, like, whether a particular product is made in a particular place. Does it have a specific provenance which is claimed? And and even the process conditions, right? Whether it's a sweatshop versus was it an organized environment a particular product has been made. And more importantly, whether whatever is claimed, you would know that last few years, one of the large textile firm was kind of, has to settle a big lawsuit, paying millions of dollars because of in terms of claims of cottons was wrong or whatever is the issue. So with all of this, the traceability becomes very easy, because when you are a smaller as an organization, uh, you know that where you are getting your specific inputs from, and where your outputs are going, and there is a one-to-one. I mean, that's how initial days, if you see, India was largely a local production and local consumption, where sari was woven within a village, and then it was sold to a particular person. So then what happened is you had this pilgrimages, like places like Banaras and Kanchipuram, where everyone started visiting for temples. They started emerging as new marketplaces, and then along with that, it also became new production hubs. That's how you see these places today have a large share of textile production as well, in addition to marketplaces. So suddenly, whatever has become local, now it has uh, started crossing the boundary. So you are getting products from outside. But now with post whatever 1991 globalization, all of that has truly, most of this production is truly global as well. So with globalization, these problems of many of the initially, everybody was very happy because it's all low cost. But now with the low cost, there are more concerns about the claims which are being made, and that's the reason the whole thing of traceability has come. Now, so uh, now, how can a product be traceable, right? So there are several solutions for that. Okay, so I'll quickly to say that, for example, there is, let's say, a specific fiber grown at a specific place. Okay, now what we can do is we can put some additive traces, like on the fiber at the, say, raw material stage. Let's say a specific specialty cotton is there, which is grown in a specific place, and you can put additive traces onto these fibers, which carry the authenticity and traceability up to the garment. So once the garment is done, because one of the also challenges that most of the textiles is decentralized, so the value chains are also highly decentralized. That means cotton is grown somewhere else, in terms of gin somewhere else, and then spinning is happening somewhere else. So all of these processes happen at different places, instead of say vertically produced, truly vertically produced, wherein somewhere the cotton is grown, and ginning to say happen at a same place. So with this concern, when you put additive tracers, so in the end product, you can actually check and validate whether this particular has a signature which we had put it on the earlier, say, fibers. Okay, and then you have other places wherein forensic traces are there, wherein they're inherent. For example, today I'll give you an example. In US bans cotton from China. Okay, so if you are working with a large customer, there is each sample, some of the samples has to be, random samples has to be sent to this testing, where they use certain chemical methods and to say profile what cotton is it? Is it cotton from specific regions from China or specific region from India? How do they do that? Because they have a library of different cottons, and these cottons carry a fingerprint of what land they are grown in. Okay, basically they have, say, in a land, let's say magnesium content is high, then they carry traces of this magnesium. Okay, so similarly, these tracers are there which are inherently in a product, can be seen later. I mean, at the end product, these traces still can be measured chemically or biologically, and they become a kind of tracing element or traceability source for that. And next is, you can put some of these identity tags, like RFID, NFC, or a QR code, which helps basically the products to see that where what has happened. Of course, that has to be backed by a supply chain platform where these tags are scanned and you capture, say, live geolocation and any other information or proof at each point of value chain, so that there is certain level of assurance and traceability is available on the platform itself. And the platform itself can be far more decentralized, wherein say only a ginner is kind of he can access the platform when it comes to ginning, right? And he can authenticate whether he has sold, whom he has sold his ginned products to. And yarn fellow can authenticate where did his yarn go to, and then fabric similarly. So entire value chain, you have a pull or push wherein you have a kind of coupling so that you have a complete visibility of the supply chain in an authentic way. Similarly, IoT is also a technology which can be used where it cannot be done otherwise. Say, for example, in case of handloom, there is no today, looking at the fabric, you cannot say that handloom or whether it is handmade or not. Okay, comprehensively, there are some cases you can say by looking at extra web techniques, and some of the computer vision algorithms are there which can tell, but the thing is that these are not comprehensive solutions. So then can handloom movement can be a footprint which can be captured and put onto a fabric by way of label. That IoT is a solution. And similarly, something like circularity, wherein say a label, the QR code label has a information called let's say 100% cotton or 100% polyester. Now, once at the end of life, someone else can scan this QR code and say how this can be sorted out. This information can be used for recycling, sorting, and etc. And finally, all of these tags, right, like a QR code or NFC, all of this also can be used as it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, again, so if you are using a supply chain platform, what is important is data integrity becomes very important, so that you can confidently trust. What it means is it has to be immutable, distributed, and even contracts has to be well defined, saying that whether how much of yarn has gone into this fabric or how much of cotton has gone in, so that you have accountability and transparency at each and every phase. Okay, this is a general primer about traceability. Let me come to discuss about something that Kosha does. What we are trying to address the issue is that imitation products are primarily driving the authentic products out of the market. And we see that about 80% of the products which are claimed to be authentic are imitation products. And we are trying to solve the trust deficit in craft sector. And as you know, the craft sector today, there are a lot of issues with respect to transparency, because highly decentralized, and even handmade claims of about handmade and material authenticity. And recently, I saw a LinkedIn post where they were supposed to procure 100% cotton for some export customer. In the last, after production, they realized that it is mixed with viscose, and that's lack of integrity. So these are the problems that we are trying to solve. One is that, on the supply side, digitalization, that means giving identity and each and every product so that it carries a certain information which can be used both at the supply side as well as demand side. Then we have developed this IoT technology for handloom and craft, which can help measure the productivity, as well as it can help in authenticating the handmade product. And finally, this platform helps managing right from inventory to sales and whole everything, which primarily looking at scaling up of the decentralized supply chains is the objective to develop this platform. And on the demand side, what's important is that today we are doing a lot of craft works, but we are not highlighting the positive credentials, be it environmental credentials. Like for example, when handmade product goes, it has a lot of inherent benefits like carbon credit offset. But can we put this measure and put this onto the product so that it becomes a selling point? I mean, it's good anyway, doing for good for the planet, and it's a matter of communication. Similarly, there are social credentials, how this product has been made, and governance. Say something, some product has been made by, say, cooperative. So why not highlight that? And SHG. So all of that. So then again, in social, many products are made by say women entrepreneurs, and some of them are rural products, tribal products. So all of these are credentials which needs to be highlighted, but highlighted in a way with the proof wherein customer can validate that, I think they are claiming this product to be say social credential of, say, being made by women, but how do you prove that it is made by women, right? Anybody can claim. So that is something on the demand side can work. So this is the solution. What we have made is a small device which sits on a handloom like a watch, right? The way you put it on wrist, very similar to that. And a label which is traditionally, if you see, is a stitched, but here it is embedded by way of extra weft technique into the product itself. Which, using this combination of these technologies, one is authentication. We can also look at how much of productivity, if it's you ordered say production from 100 looms, monitoring itself becomes very expensive, right? Going weekly visits and all of that. But with this device, you can actually remotely monitor the kind of production that is happening, so that you are assured that your customer, you are able to meet deliverables. As you know that some of the customers have penalty and all of that. So this will help in that. And then this label specifically helps in consumer engagement, where consumer can read entire story of the product, more than the product, whatever has happened in the background. All of this, it can carry the information, including a live video of a product, specific product, or what is the carbon footprint of the product, who has made it, what are the other credentials, all of that. And then similar, I'll show you a quick video which highlights this after this. And while I spoke about the other IoT product for handloom, for other crafts, there is a wearable which kind of measures the gestures of a movement. Say an embroidery is done up and down, or a painting is done in a certain way, right? Crochet is done in a certain way. So all of these gestures it can capture, and it helps in authentication as well as monitoring. And the third important solutions which have recently developed is also textile material integrity solution, because many a times, like I mentioned about recently a cotton episode, where supplier has, because as a small, many of the craft enterprises are reasonably small and they procure all kind of material. But is it really, when what they are purchasing is pure silk, or even if it is not pure silk, they claim as cotton silk, how much of that is cotton, how much of it is silk, right? How much is it basically worth? That becomes a challenge. So we have developed a portable device which can tell product content within a few seconds. So connected to a laptop, and it can tell immediately in a web-based app, easily tell that. So primarily, this is the products we have done. And let me share uh, you can see my screen, right? Our website.
Yeah,
Right?
it's visible. Yeah, but we'll have to see if we can see the video in full because the screen is
Yeah,
somehow
exactly. I'm gonna,
compartmentalized.
yeah, I'll just do 1 second. I'll stop sharing first and then. First, I'll show you a demo video, and then I'll. Okay, I'll show you a product page, though it's optimized for a mobile as a mobile phone. I'm just presenting on a PC. So this is how when a consumer scans as a sample page, you will see what is the say a product name and who's the weaver and where it has been made. And there's a video which can be a say a live video specific to each and every product, or it can be a artisan specific video, or it can be organization specific video. So all of these are kind of configurable. So where in this case Cooptex is the customer, and you can see artisan page for every product which is authenticated. So, and what are the say unique credentials of this particular product, and even the product story? All of these can also be kind of showcased to the consumer, and at a scalable. I mean, it's not that a lot of hard work has to go, a lot of entry. It's one-time configuration, and rest of the things are taken care by the system automatically. That is the kind of approach that we have taken, and based on our own field work, which we have realized how difficult it is to kind of implement technology at a rural level or with the weavers. So we've understood that, and we have changed a lot of processes where some of these decisions are automated by the system itself. Okay, so that is a brief about what we do. And so this authentication, we've been working with customers like Tanaira or Adyam and NEHHDC, which is a Northeast based public sector unit. And we've also started working in Africa for this. So what we are realizing is that the traceability is one, is that the differentiation has to be there. If somebody is doing genuine handmade work, it is difficult for say developing, say, packaging or say modeling, all of that stuff, because you don't have a scale, unlike the traditional mass produced products. So at least the production itself can be kind of brought forth to the consumer, so that there is a lot of this authenticity attached to the consumer, and that can improve the marketability of the product. So I'll stop here.
So, we can take questions towards the end, but these are questions, Vijaya, that are coming, that are directly related to, what you showed. So one is on the live video of the artisans.
Okay.
So so it's being asked that do we need to put the camera on each loom? How does that work?
Yeah, okay. So primarily that option is on the mobile. There is an option. In fact, one of our customer, NEHHDC, they have done thousands of products, but they make each and every product live. 10 seconds video is taken on the loom. Okay, that's there on the app itself, and there is kind of done the mobile app, and it automatically linked to that particular product. I mean, that's where this automation work happens. Though they don't have to type somewhere, save somewhere, all of that. They just scan a label which they have woven on the product and take a 10 seconds video, and that's it. So then automatically that video is kind of becomes part of this product.
So the artisan takes the video. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Artisan or somebody related to neighbor, whoever it is there. If that is the case, if you want to take a live video, that's also an option.
And another question is, so the QR associated with every product coming out of one loom is the same? Is the QR code same that's coming out of one loom?
No. It is unique for each and every product. So it's a product level unique QR code. Yeah, that's used for many other purposes like anti-counterfeiting. All of that can be done. So there is no two labels which are same.
Right. And
so do you suggest, Surucchi, maybe you want to complete the session and then take the questions in the end, so that
we can do that. So we'll just keep a tap on it. Bhakti, you can also just keep a tap on the questions that are coming in the chat, and we can take it together.
Yeah.
But Vijay, you have not spoken about the cost of employing this technology. Could you also briefly go there?
Sure. So right now, an individual single loom would cost around 6,500 rupees. Sorry, 3,500 for the device. That's a one-time cost, and 6,500 per year. That is the cost of includes cost of the label and all this video hosting, all the content, all of that. So roughly one-time cost of 10,500 and subsequently 6,500. But yeah, if there is a scale and also there is some depending on how much of content is hosted, this is a max. Then it can come down based on if the content is not hosted at the product level, depending on the complexity, all of that, and scale. The products the pricing can change.
Okay.
And labels are provided by us as part of the thing. They are well in advance given to the customer, and customer in turn gives it to the weaver. So they don't have it's basically hassle-free. Only thing is that they have to have a mobile, and it's not that each weaver should have it, but people around And even it can be engineered such that once in a 15 days you have a mobile phone, still it can work. All of that can be done. So it is slightly an engineered process depending on the end. You can take it most complicated or most easiest. Of course, there are trade-offs, like you might not get a live video if you don't have a phone on a daily basis. And if it's a long product like a sari, which takes 3 months to weave, you don't need to have a mobile. Still you can have the same kind of luxury, even if you have once in 3 months. Somebody with a mobile comes and takes a video or something like that. So yeah, it's kinds of varies from cluster to cluster, product to product, and customer to customer. Yeah, and maybe once Abhilasha's session is done, we can take rest of the questions as well.
Yeah, so we of course can delve more into the insights and questions, but
Yeah.
let's hear from Abhilasha. Abhilasha Bahuguna is the co-founder of Looms of Ladakh, and the Looms of Ladakh is an ethical herder artisan-led brand based out of Ladakh. The brand produces scarves, shawls, jacket, gloves from sheep, yak, wool, as well as pashmina fiber. Abhilasha, of course, will talk more about it. And they have employed Kosha's ERP technology to streamline their production and supply chain. The brand recently received NASSCOM's Inspire Award 2022-23 for technology adoption in small industry category for smart value chain. Let's hear from Abhilasha. Yeah, we have the presentation.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and hello, Surucchi, and thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to share our experiments and our endeavor in digitizing our operations. And I would vouch for the Kosha team, which has stood by us in the past 2 years to implement, these two technologies of. Am I audible?
You're audible, but it's echoing for some reason. Can we all,
Yes.
I think we can all put ourselves on mute.
Even I felt that. Wait a second. Is this better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Acha. And is my slide visible?
Yeah, it is. Go on.
Okay. So yes, out of the bouquet of technological products that Kosha is offering, we have worked with them, intensively on the enterprise resource planning software, for which we had pitched to SIDBI Swavlamban Challenge Fund, 1.5 2 years back, and we have also initiated and experimented on some pilots with them. One being the IoT Hasta, the hello. Is it
It's
still
echo.
echoing?
It was echoing. Are you placing another device around your laptop? Sometimes that
No, no. It's just my laptop. Is it better now?
it's better now. Yeah.
अच्छा ठीक है. So yeah, we have intensively worked with them on enterprise resource planning software, and the other two technologies which we have initiated and experimented with them. One is the IoT, in which it is placed on a loom and one can tell if it's a handmade product or not, but it's in very initial stages. And the third one is the RFID tagging, for the goat. It is important for our context, and there will be other products which will be useful for the different craft organizations of our country. For us, why ERP and traceability for the goat is important is because most of the literature and advocacy around climate talk is based in the 20th century, and it's talking about the livestock ratio in the region. It's also talking about that wool was initially used, but not pashmina in the region. And we are also learning about how goat is not sustainable for the pastures of Ladakh. Then, on the other hand, in the past 2 decades, Ladakh has seen such great changes due to the strategic interest in the region, by the defense establishments, or the tourism which has quickly progressed in the region without giving the region time to reflect on how it wants to go about it. And in all these scenarios, uh, the youth of that region are migrating. They are educated, unemployed, like many parts of the country, and are not taking interest in developing, their cultural capacities for their livelihoods or the future. So there's a gap between the research and the different policies and skilling activities going on and the aspirations of the local youth. So why enterprise resource planning software and the traceability of the goat was important for us to experiment and learn from the process along with Kosha is, when we see the woolen products, the sheep wool products, we can bring out 2 or 3 carpets in a year. And if we do the maths behind it, one carpet made in 30 to 40 days will give around 16,000, 15,000 to 16,000 rupees to an artisan. And that artisan will be able to sell maximum 3 carpets in a year. And the profit that the artisan is making on that carpet is maximum 2,000 rupees. So it is not something that the younger generation would like to take up as an industry, or the future professional endeavor. So enterprise resource planning software is helping Looms of Ladakh to manage its decentralized production studios. It's a cooperative. It's led by these herder artisans, and the decentralized work studios are in Leh, Trishul, Kargil for weaving and tailoring, and for spinning and knitting, which are home based activities, have been practiced by these people in the past. uh, these are carried out in the 16 villages in the 2 districts of Leh and Kargil. So earlier, what used to happen was, like, we all must be maintaining our registers. Hello, is it still? Is there an issue with the voice?
It's better now. Go on. Yeah, it's fine.
Acha, acha. Okay. So I'm sure that all of us do maintain our registers of raw material entries and the products that are received against those raw materials, the payments that are made to the members. But we are, in managing all these decentralized production activities, we are not able to uh, work, very professionally, to be able to track how much production is going on where, what is the efficiency of which cluster, which self-help group, or which member, or what are the wastages that are happening. So that is why we brought in enterprise resource planning software, and we reached out to some organizations in our country for their insights on, who can provide us the best software. And then ultimately we found Kosha, who kind of handholded us in this endeavor in the past 1.5 years. We have been 70% successful in implementing it. It is, I mean, the project is almost complete on papers, but there's still some way to walk through, when we can confidently say that we are able to tap the best. I mean, tap whatever outcome we expected from this software. Right now, it is helping us in managing our production efficiently and in timely member payments, and also to understand the wastages that are taking place at different stages of our value chain. So we are able to scale up our production activities and have a database of each of our members, and analyze it to make our quarterly and annual plans and 3 to 5 year business projections. So that is how an enterprise resource planning software is helping us. How it is implemented is that every entry for the raw material or the finished material that is received by the cooperative head is entered in this central system at the lay level, and also at the decentralized level by the operators are members of the cooperative who have been trained how to update the member entries at the decentralized village level. So basically, there are different stages of this ERP software, where each production process is documented, and so we are aware of where our raw material has reached at what stage, and if we want to reallocate that that yarn or that dyed material to another product, we are aware of where the quantities are, and we can uh, make the changes in the planning if required based on any B2B demand and all. Yeah. So this we can also do on Excel. It's not that difficult, and we must have been doing it on our registers. However, when we are on the grassroots level and when we are managing so many other things, we really do not make the effort to make the calculations to find out where the wastages are and what's happening. With this software, it's really easy on the dashboard to see how much raw material is there and how much products have been made. But the problem we are facing in the implementation of this ERP software is that the central hub, uh, where our really educated young professionals are, they are they were quick to understand how to work with the system. We are facing certain problems at the decentralized village level, and that is why I say that we have been able to successfully implement it up to 70%, but we still need to go a certain part, a way to be confidently saying that we have achieved what we wanted to achieve with the software, but we're on it. Then when we talk about uh, traceability, the RFID tagging for the pashmina goat, when I mentioned that those three wool carpets are giving in a year are giving just 2 to 3 thousand per carpet profit to an artisan, and it is not encouraging the younger generation to take that up as a profession. And then we are saying that pashmina is bad for the ecology and it should not be encouraged. uh, we felt that instead of halting all the value addition and skilling activities for the Ladakh Pashmina, which now has a GI, maybe there is a better way where your Ladakh Pashmina can be a niche traceable fiber with an ecosystem approach, and the other fibers which are locally available, they can be equally promoted with different value addition and capacity building activities. So how do we go about there? With Kosha, a pilot was experimented. So you have this traditional way of transhumance. This was before 1962, and your pastoralists in Ladakh, who are coming from the Changpa community, they used to travel from a place called Skadzum in Tibet to your Soccer Lake. And it was an annual movement of these pastoralists. And every 2 3 months, they used to stop at one place and then move to the other. So, what happened in this process was that the pastures got time to rejuvenate, and it was not detrimental to the pastures. Now what is happening is, with the borders being closed post 1962, and fair price distribution systems, FPS shops and all introduced in the region, the lifestyle changes, also a lot of Tibetan refugees who brought in a lot of pashmina goats with them. The ratio drastically increased when these Tibetan refugees brought a lot of goats to Ladakh post 1960s. There is a lot of pressure on the grasslands. But there are still pastoralists who are practicing complete pastoralism. They are taking a route, and their goats are free grazing goats. They do go to different altitudes, throughout the year, uh, to be able to, yield the pashmina fiber. And compared to these pastoralists, there are also pastoralists who are semi pastoralists, who are making the goats, feed on the fodder made available through different institutions. And they are almost semi pastoralists, they are settled around a place. Or then there are the third category of pastoralists, or people who are now engaging in, purchasing a lot of pashmina, because the value of pashmina in Ladakh has increased drastically. So with this RFID tagging, and it's not unique to Ladakh, it's not our creative first creative pursuit. We read it in the academic papers coming from the Europe, that they have target for their sustainable fashion industry, that by 2030 all the natural fibers, they want some kind of traceability and RFID tagging system. So for that, we along with Kosha tried to do a pilot, that if this goat which comes from um, you know this pasture, which is a free grazing goat, where the carrying capacity of that pasture is maintained, because the people are practicing their traditional way of pastoralism, if that goat can be tagged, and the altitude at which that animal is grazing, throughout the year, is maintained in that cloud system, and then, it is certified and traced to the final product. This can be your niche luxury fiber, just at par with your vicuna fiber, instead of clubbing it together with your cashmere industry. And these can be limited edition products instead of going for mass production of pashmina. And on the other hand, you can do research and value addition in yak wool and sheep wool, without giving up on the high economic value product that you already have, and without negatively impacting the ecology. So this is another pilot that was initiated. However, it requires a lot of stakeholders to come together, and so it's just in the pilot stage, and hopefully it will see the light of the day someday. So thank you.
And thank you, Abhilasha, so much. And it's very heartening to see that in the first dialogue, which was on biodiversity in October, Monisha Ahmed had joined, and she was, pointing on very similar issues when it comes to environmental stress that it gets created because of stress on the pasture land vis-a-vis goat. And also managing the biodiversity by also stressing on yak and sheep and not only goat. So it's
Yes.
heartening to see that, there are enterprises who are thinking on those lines and, are appreciating that there is some value that the global market is seeing in promoting regenerative practices, and how do you bring that to your business. So
Yes.
definitely some merit there.
So we are saying that we do not have to abandon our value addition, activities in the Ladakh Pashmina field if it is a high economic value fiber, but we have to do it in a more systems thinking approach. And we have to keep it limited and traceable to these, pastures which have the carrying capacity, which are practicing those regenerative pastoralism practices.
Fair enough. Vijay, should we start taking the questions so that we have some participation going on from the audience side? So, the
Got it.
question that we had was from Shrivanti. She says that if we cut the fabric and make multiple garments out of it, how do we get the tag woven onto each garment now for traceability?
Yeah, so one is that there is one is there is a long yardage of fabric, right? How many labels should say 25 meter of fabric than should have, right? That can be engineered. You want to have label for every half a meter or 1 meter. Another way to look at it is that, let's say this 25 meters of fabric uh, can become say 25 shirts. Okay, so these labels which are there on the shirts, this authenticity can be passed on to this rest of the shirts. So that's, I mean, it's done in a software in a simple scanning method. So the authenticity basically passed on, handed over from fabric to the garment. Okay, so that's how it is done.
Would it be also similar for Anamika's question? I'm just trying to understand. Suppose we have a fabric that is being woven and which is being sold per meter. How
Yeah.
will the QR get reflected? I think the issue here being very similar.
Yes, yes. So it's something that, based on the need. If it's a than, some of our customers, they do that. They have every 2 meters they use this QR code label, so that, when they're selling it, minimum 2 meters is what they sell, and they have a fabric associated with all of this. That's more of an engineering thing, how it can be used.
And how does the artisan generate multiple QR code labels? Is the artisan generating the QR code, or as you said, it automatically gets generated?
No, it's basically we Kosha provides them labels in advance, like once in a year. In the beginning itself, we provide 100, 200, 300 based on the requirement. All that artisan have to do is weave the label onto the fabric. That's it.
And this is during the production stage.
During the production stage, yes. So that way, when it's all of these, so the tech is like a little independent from the weaver. So all that they need is somebody who can operate mobile phone, like a student or somebody who can go once in 15 days, or depending on the frequency, you can scan all the products which have come out in one shot, and then go near the loom, say once in 15 days, and collect some data with a simple press of a button. So rest everything is taken care at the kind of back end.
Okay, I think Hifsa's question is for Abhilasha, that how is Kosha helping you to track the wastage? I think the question is, how is the ERP system helping you to track the wastage?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's very simple. When we maintain our register where we have our raw material issue register, and then we have the finished good that we have received. Not we do not calculate how much grams went into making that, how much grams was distributed, and how much the product weighed when we received it. We maintain it on our excels also, and then we do calculate. But it's easier when it's automatically done by your system, and you can see it on monthly basis. We otherwise used to
You are on mute,
basis.
Abhilasha. Sorry, we couldn't hear you for the last 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. So what I'm trying to say is that it's as simple as, when we issue a raw material and we know how much grams we issue, and then we get a finished product. So there's a difference. So where did that difference go? So we can do it on our Excel also, on our registers and calculators also, but that we do generally, on a quarterly basis or when the audits are done. With the help of this system, it is much more efficient, and all this data is, automatically available to us on our dashboards. And these reports can be generated and used in the planning, and then help us in monitoring, to reduce that wastage at whichever stage of production it is happening.
Okay. Hifsa, if you have more questions, of course, if something's not clarified, we can maybe, take it up with Abhilasha.
I
But
think,
let's move to Neeta's.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead. I think I was
Yeah.
coming.
So no, let's go to Neeta's question where she's asking, Abhilasha, what is the ease of using this software? I think you did mention that
Yeah.
your 70% is covered, but then you're facing issues at the decentralized level, which is the grassroots level.
Yes, yes. So at the central level, now we are seeing a lot of members who are 12th pass, undergraduates, they're under 35 years of age. With them, it's not that difficult. And also with members, who are under 40 years of age and who are adept at using their Android phones, it's not difficult with them. But at the village level, where we have members who are, say, uh, 45 years old, or in that age group, there it is not that easy. So you need some younger members to be trained and handholded as operators. And also, it's not going to be a one time training. It has to be a consistent effort. It has to be developed as a habit, to practice this updating of the software of the different stages of production. And in that, we are grateful, that Kosha did stick with us, and they did not go only, by MOU terms, saying that we've done 3 trainings and okay, bye bye. So they stayed with us.
It's a
Yeah.
continuous process. Neeta, would you want to directly ask the second question, which is about education qualification?
Yeah, I mean, basically the cluster that I work in, we work in Chhattisgarh, and we have to address similar challenges which Looms of Ladakh have tried addressing, and that's why I'm very much interested in the uh, what Vijay and his team at Kosha have developed to see how best it works for us. But then, yes, even our working environment is similar to what Abhilasha's is. That while we may have in our office, we may have somebody who is well versed with MS Office and can probably operate a software, but where our production hubs or centers are concerned, we prefer to engage people from the community for most of our work, not only our weavers and artisans, but for all other work that happens, we prefer to work. And then there is limited education qualifications that they come with. English is a challenge. So my concern today is that uh, how implementing and in fact, from last 3 months, I've been trying to see what how could I digitize my entire production chain, right? Because we are kind of surrounded with the amount of manual challans and DCs and traceability and all this process of from yarn to end product, and you're trying to figure out how best to do that. But yes, I mean, I'm not going to have a very computer savvy, tech savvy resources with me working. And that's why I just needed to understand, Vijay, from you as to how this could help our team there, right, at the ground level.
True. Yeah. Maybe Abhilasha ji, do you want to talk about it first? I mean, she mentioned about it, typically 12th plus 12 plus is kind of people they have at the central office who are able to use this system. And yeah, so one thing is that, a bigger challenge with respect to decentralized system is the system itself, ERP, right? So what we have made it is everything is on the cloud. So that means you don't need a special equipment, laptop or anything like that. Whatever phones, Android phones people are using, they are also good. Or if somebody at the central office has a laptop or computer, that will also work good. It's a web-based, basically, primarily web-based. The second point is that languages, it has got multiple languages. If English is a concern, it comes in a variety of languages, Hindi, and many of the local languages. And so also what we have been keenly looking at is that, how we can make this system without typing anything. A lot of this, for example, you scan a product, say there is a QR code, weaver, all that he has to do is weave it, that's all. After that, use the app and scan it, that's it. You don't have to do anything else about it. And this can be used for, say, inventory, sales, all of this. So that you don't have a too much of interaction or a manual typing, selection, all of this is happening. So that's how we have looked at the challenges faced by decentralized sector and developed this system specific to crafts. So, and we kind of learned a lot during our journey in the last 2 years. And we have put in as much of effort now as possible to say that how do you reduce the work? And how do you, for example, keep away from this a lot of the, like, for example, weavers in Kanchipuram, same problem where, you are a 45, 50-year-old, you mostly have a bar phone, not familiar. So we have seen that issues, and that's how we have kind of, made the systems easier, so that, people who are not excluded just because they don't have technology, right? Exclusion is a bigger danger. So we've made it all the efforts to see that, all kind of people who know weaving, at least the weaver should know only weaving. He should be able to be part of this platform. That's how we've made the systems.
Abhilasha, would you like to
Thanks.
add to it?
Yes, so basically, as I mentioned, that in the central warehouse we are able to properly update all the software. We did face some issues at the decentralized level, but now we are finding a lot of young operators there who are able to pick it up. And my concern was that it's in English, but because Ladakh, it either is familiar with your English, that's the SMS language, or Bodhi. So that's why we stick with English. And when you ask this question, whether the artisans at your cluster will be able to update the entry, because you have to make those entries yourself. But Vijayji just now mentioned that he does offer it in various languages, so that is going to be helpful. And he's also mentioning that in the past 2 years, some changes have been made in the entries. With they have been made more graphical, perhaps, and so it'll be easier than we had it in our times. And yeah.
Okay, thanks, Abhilasha. Gautam Malik has I think it's a different sector specific question, but let's attempt taking it, Vijay. How can QR codes and NFCs be implemented with industrial remanufacturing value chains where raw material is rescued car seats from scrapped cars? Uh, do you think we can address this? Because this is more craft-centric platform.
I mean, from a supply chain, it can be implemented. It's basically the same value chain, A, B, C, D. That A can be fiber, fabric, or it can be nuts, bolts, whatever it is. So, I mean, from a possibility perspective, yeah, you can be implemented. And also, I mean, maybe I had another following question wherein how could this system be implemented with waste pickers? That's more of an engineering issue. So, I mean, it has to be thought through, sit through, saying that who are the stakeholders, how are they interacting, and where is the material, what is the form of material which is coming in. So, say for example, waste is picked up, sorted out, somewhere it is baled. So, at what stage should we introduce, say, RFID or NFC? That has to be thought through, but it's a possibility. I mean, it can well be implemented. Yeah.
And there is a question about, the cost again, some clarity needed there that you told 6,500 yearly for software, right?
With
And
labels and software, everything. Yeah.
so is it
So,
per loom 6,500, or if a weaver has over 50 looms or so, more looms, then how does that work? So it's
I mean,
6,500
I don't
per
have a
loom.
ready answer, but that can be explored. What can be done? Some scale. We don't have right now specific pricing strategy saying that 10, 50, 100, 200. But if there are looms like that, definitely we can explore, Kunalji. So, yeah, yeah.
We have some time, we can take more questions. And in the meantime, I can, we also have another user amongst us, Chitij Hazarika. He works with the Northeast Handloom and Handicraft Development Corporation and has been using Kosha's technology for over 2 years. And so a lot of pilots that Kosha did was with them. So together they have really worked and innovated and streamlined the technology. क्षितिज जी, आप हमें ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट से। आप हमें थोड़ा सा बताएं आप क्या काम करते हैं और कैसे आपने टेक्नोलॉजी को अपनाया है, कैसे यूज किया है। क्षितिज जी, आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे? या अनम्यूट, आई थिंक आप अनम्यूट कर लीजिए अपने आप को। I think Vijay, he's having some problem connecting maybe. Should we take Hifsa's question? I am into handmade footwear manufacturing. How can I try using Kosha?
From just one second. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better. I think there is slight
Echo.
echo.
Yeah, just 1 second.
हेलो।
Okay, yeah. So we have क्षितिज हजारिका। आप बात करेंगे अभी, क्षितिज जी?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी। तो गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। तो मैं नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न फ्रॉम नॉर्थ ईस्ट से हूँ, नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न हैंडीक्राफ्ट एंड हैंडलूम डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन। हमने कोशा जो डिवाइस है ये हमने ऑलमोस्ट 1.5 ईयर से यूज कर रहा हूँ उसका। तो इससे हम लोग का बहुत सारे मतलब ये हुआ है जिससे कि प्रोडक्ट अभी हम लोगों का बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट एक्सपोर्ट भी हुआ है। तो पहले क्या था कि नोटिस में हम लोग का जो पूरे ऑल इंडिया में 60% जो हैंडलूम है नॉर्थ में है। लेकिन उसका जो प्रोडक्ट है हैंडलूम प्रोडक्ट वो क्या है, बाहर जब एक्सपोर्ट मार्केट के लिए होता है तो उसमें एक फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन होता है कि इसका हैंडलूम है या पावरलूम। तो ये क्वेश्चन था। और दूसरा था कि मिडिल मैन जो है बहुत सारे आ जाता है। जैसे हम लोग का जो ग्रॉस लेवल पे जो आर्टिजन है वो प्रोडक्ट बनाता है, फिर उसको एक मिडिल मैन जो होता है वो लेके फिर वो अलग रेट में वो बाहर मतलब सेल करता है। तो उसका ट्रेसेबिलिटी भी और ऑथेंटिसिटी दोनों का जो प्रॉब्लम है हम लोग वो मतलब हो रहा था। उसके बाद हमने कोशा के साथ एक एमओयू हो गया। फिर हमने उसको जब यूज किया तो हमको ये हुआ कि हमने अभी बहुत सारे जैसे जर्मनी, फ्रांस और यूएसए ऐसे जगह पे हमने उसको अलग अलग प्रोडक्ट का हमने एक्सपोर्ट भी किया है। और क्या हुआ, हम लोगों का नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न हैंडलूम एंड हैंडीक्राफ्ट जो ये है ये हम पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट का जितना भी आर्टिजियन है उसके डेवलपमेंट के लिए काम करता हूँ हम लोग। तो अभी क्या है, जितने गॉड्स लेवल पे आर्टिजन है उसको हमने अभी पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में पूरे हम लोग का 8 स्टेट जो है आसाम से लेके आसाम, अरुणाचल, मणिपुर, मेघालय, मिजोरम, नागालैंड, सिक्किम एंड त्रिपुरा, सबको हमने ये जो डिवाइस है 10,000 डिवाइस पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं थ्रू NEHHDC। तो इसमें क्या होगा कि जितने भी आर्टिजियन है डायरेक्टली जो एक्सपोर्ट लेवल का उसको ऑर्डर मिलेगा, उसको ट्रेस करके उसके पास ऑर्डर मिलेगा, और हैंडलूम है या पावरलूम का उसका जो क्वेश्चन है वो नहीं आएगा। तो इससे हम लोगों को बहुत ज्यादा फायदा हो रहा है पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट का आर्टिजियन को। तो इसीलिए हम थैंक्स टू विजय जी जो हमने ऐसे, और हमने हाँ जो एरी स्पिनिंग है एरी सिल्क का वो भी अभी हम एक प्रोसेस चल रहा है। नॉर्मली नॉर्थ ईस्ट में एरी सिल्क बहुत ज्यादा है, लेकिन क्या है बहुत सारे लोगों को एक्चुअली पता नहीं यहाँ पे एरी सिल्क और मुगा सिल्क का प्रोडक्शन 90% नॉर्थ ईस्ट में है। तो अभी हम उसको भी एक, जैसे अभिलाषा जी ने बताया कि एक ब्लॉक चेन जो हो रहा है कि फ्रॉम गोट टू प्रोडक्ट, जैसे हम भी सेम एरी सिल्क को फ्रॉम कोकोन टू प्रोडक्ट के एक सेन उसका भी प्रोसेस चल रहा है। तो अभी नेक्स्ट 6 मंथ में भी वो भी हो जाएगा। तो अब जिसको भी एरियन का भी अगर जो भी जरूरत है वो भी उसको एक सेन मिल जाएगा उसके हिसाब से।
Thank you so much. Do we have any more questions, or we can go towards wrapping up? And we will definitely be sharing coordinates of Vijay and Abhilasha. We'll be doing some takeaways, and you can check Creative Dignity's blog on their website in 2-3 days, and you'll be able to see the coordinates as well as some resources that we have with us in relation to the session today. So you can access that as well. Just for your understanding, so I think, we are building in well that the first focus that we had, the first session was on biodiversity. I'm quite glad that eri silk, muga silk, as well as pashmina fiber, these were the value chains that we looked at in terms of biodiversity. In terms of action, we are able to see how traceability is actually helping there is some contribution. In the next session, which will happen next month, we will also look at communication and bring you some case studies, which, so how we've been able to bridge theory and practice in this session. We'll also, our attempt in the next session in terms of communication will be how data is collected by various craft enterprises in their own way, and how they are able to communicate their social as well as environmental impact. So it's not only that we are working in this cluster, we are working with these many artisans, but also concrete impact that's happening on the grassroots level. And how that is achieved is, of course, through technology, through data assimilation. And, of course, Kosha is one of the technologies, and we very much look forward to, the enterprises that have joined us today to use it. Vijay and Abhilasha are, the coordinates, as I said, will be shared, and you can touch base with them and clarify it further. We have one question from Lata, who's a member of CD. Vijay, for you, how do you see small artisan entrepreneurs who are selling in local markets using this technology? So at a very grassroots level.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
just one second. Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, I mean, it's hard, especially if you're selling in a local market. Ultimately, if consumer appreciates your product, having a label and somebody scans it, that also we have experienced with some customers who had a large customer. So they had around 200 plus these installations, and about 30 to 40% of their customers don't care about traceability, which is largely the local market. But I feel that somewhere, if you are into genuine handmade, naturally you are feeling the heat from other products, right? So it's essential that you kind of premiumize your product, and this comes as a premiumization. Now this is where people see that, hey, why your product is high, whereas the other product, we started facing. And that's how we came out with this technology in the very beginning. I mean, I'm not a technologist, so I don't understand ABC of software. But when we started just trying, saying that how can you improve the value of handmade by exporting stoles to US, our customers, we had a joint venture partner, who started distributing. And the question time and again came is that why your some cotton stole is say $8, whereas they can get a similar cotton stole from China at $1.5. So right, these questions came in, and that's how we started asking ourselves, how do we differentiate? So I feel the same way, saying that if customer is not at all accepting, there is nothing one can do about it. But this is a tool for premiumizing someone's product. That's how it has to be seen.
Yeah, really relevant. And before we close the session, sorry, were you saying something, Vijay?
No, I'm fine. So
okay, I would like to invite Meera Goradia, who's the executive director of Creative Dignity. She has an announcement to make, and it'll also be nice to have some takeaways from you, Meera.
So first of all, I'm not the executive director. I'm the co-chair. The other co-chair has not attended today. But Vijaya and Abhilasha, thank you so much for this session. I think it's just the beginning. This is really a path that you are blazing for the rest of us. And I'm sure that a lot of us from the network are going to be coming to you soon. This is one of the pathways to the future. I think we cannot ignore it or avoid it. So I think really commendable that you have flagged this and taken this on. So first of all, thanks on that count. I just wanted to make this announcement because the person who was going to is not able to come. So one of our members, who's also, very much a part of the British Council, wanted to announce that the British Council has announced or soon will be announcing small grants for technology solutions that can map sustainability in artisanal supply chains and handmade supply chains. The grants themselves are not very big. I think they are in the tune of 7 to 10 lakhs, but they at least give some headway in exploring, testing a solution if one has found one. So we'll get more details from Achal very soon. We'll post it on the group and we'll also share it with you, Vijay. You're very happy, most welcome. We'd be most honored if you join the CD group as well. So if you're open to that, we're happy to add you to the CD collector group. So that's one. And while the technology fund is only for developing or testing a technology that can look at sustainable aspects or dimensions of the supply chain, it would also get supplemented with other programs of the British Council. So then they would promote you on different platforms and so on. So it's not just the technology, it comes with many other perks, which Achal, of course, would be in a better position to explain. But I'm just putting the thought out here.
Thank you. Thank you for the good words, Meera, and look forward to be associated with CD.
Thank you. Likewise, Vijay.
Yep.
Thank you, Meera.
And thank you, Surucchi,
Thank you,
for planning and designing this.
Thank you, Abhilasha.
Thank you, Meera ji. Thank you, Vijay
Thank you,
ji.
Meera.
Thank you, Suruchi.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.